Hey guys, welcome back. Today is November 15th. We are back for episode 6. Going to be one of our shorter episodes of the podcast, but we did want to get back out here. And Chris, how you doing today, bud? I know it's been a rough day for you.
Yeah, no, I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there.
We definitely feel that. Good news for Yankee land. It's official that Luis Rojas is now the third base coach of the New York Yankees. So no longer do we have to hear Phil Nevin's name come up. How excited
Well,
are you for?
it just did. Dude, it just came up now. So
Right. I mean, but this
congratulations.
is the last time.
You ruined your whole point.
No, I didn't. This is the
Yeah,
last
you
time that we
did.
have to. This is the last time that we have to hear of his name, and his name will never have to be mentioned again. But like I was gonna say before I was interrupted by you, I wanted you, I wanted you to be able to give your thoughts on what you think of Luis Rojas now that it's official.
He came from the Mets. The Mets kind of sucked, but I don't know really anything about Luis Rojas because I'm a Yankee fan and a Yankee fan only, and I really only started watching the Yankees like heavily this year, and never really paid attention to the Mets. So I really don't have much of an opinion other than the fact that he's better than Phil Nevin. So, oh, there's his name again.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we're gonna wind up saying that name, but yeah, I think Luis Rojas was a great pick. Our guy Steven from the Sports Wave hit us up on IG as soon as it became official, and he said have fun with him. And Steven, we definitely will. Uh, the Mets aren't a great team. They obviously got Lindor, and it looks like they're gonna go after Baez or Chris Bryant in free agency, and they're really trying to build that team back up to try to make a push in a division that's overall not the best. Um, I just don't think Rojas fit their plans anymore. He was a great organizational piece for them in the minor league. It just never transferred over to the major league level. But I think for the Yankees' sake, and not making him the manager, but just a coach, I think that's going to do him really well, and it's going to help Boone out a lot having someone that has managerial experience in the MLB, but they can kind of feed off of each other for ideas and help each other out to, hopefully bring this Yankees team to a World Series in 2022.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Um, so, yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see how long the deal was for. Let's see. Does it say anything here? It does not. But either way, Luis Rojas is going to be here for at least 2022, if not longer. So congratulations, sir. Just let's make sure that you don't
Finally
throw
made it
it.
to the light side of the force in New York.
Right, yeah. And, just make sure you don't send any of our runners and get them thrown out at the plate, please.
Yeah.
We already had that happen too many times. But moving on, we got some guys that we need to congratulate from the New York Yankees. They did send out the all MLB nominees for this year, and the Yankees have 5 players that have been nominated. So nice round of applause for these guys after Chapman, Cole, Stanton, Judge, and Loizaga. So very nice job. Nice little golf clap. The only 2 I see winning the rewards are Judge and Cole. Maybe not even Cole. I could definitely see Judge getting it without a doubt.
I could see Stanton getting it.
I could too if Otani wasn't there.
Yeah, you're right.
Otani's
Yeah.
going to be the reason why Stanton doesn't get it. Loizaga is not going to get it because he wasn't a closer, even though he was absolutely phenomenal all year. Chapman, he was so high the first like 2.5 months of the year, but then he did have his inconsistency, so I don't see that there. And then Cole is just like a juggler. It's like he was the most dominant pitcher, and then he had that September and he had that wild card game, which is definitely going to affect it. But we'll see. But shout out to the 5 of them for getting nominated for that, because that's definitely a big thing to have on your resume. And we wish them the best of the luck. And We would love if all 5 of them won it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, but I
Yeah.
doubt that's going to happen.
Yep. Also another thing, your favorite free agent, Carlos Correa, won the Platinum Gold Glove Award for American League this week.
You know what color goes really good with platinum? White and navy blue.
Yeah, I bet it does. And yeah, I mean that just adds to his resume, and it's just gonna build up his profile to get even more money this offseason.
Oh yeah,
I know,
we've definitely got plenty of that. So
right, and the way it's looking, it's really a two-headed race right now between the Yankees and Detroit that we know of. We don't know.
Detroit is trying to make some fucking. They're trying to ball out.
They're trying to make some moves. They're not a bad team. They had 77 wins last year. I mean, I know that's not over 500.
That's still 12 less than the Yankees.
Yes, but they still have a team that they're rebuilding, and they have some young pieces there. They just inked Eduardo Rodriguez to a 5-year deal this morning. That deal was worth about $80 million, and he has an opt out after year 2. But I think that's a solid move for the Tigers, and they're definitely not done yet. They've been linked to Correa, they've been linked to Seager, Verlander, a bunch of guys. So there's a bunch of guys that the Yankees are linked to that Detroit is also linked to, and it's going to just have to fall in between if we're going to fight with Detroit for the money, or if we're just going to settle for another option. Whether that's if Seager goes to Detroit, we get Correa, or vice versa.
Yeah, I really hope Correa doesn't go to Detroit, just because I want to have better defense at shortstop. But you're never gonna let me ever say that without that face right there. Yep.
Yeah. For all of you that are listening to the audio version, I gave him like a little smirk because I really
smirk, that's just a grimace.
Yeah, I just really want Corey Seager. I don't mind Correa.
Then why don't you marry him?
Maybe I have to. I don't know. Corey Seager is the love of my life, and he's not even a Yankee yet.
Yeah, so if Corey Seager, if you're watching this, just if you want to make a move early, like I wouldn't mind you coming right to the Yankees before Correa even shows interest. But please, for the love of God, make this man happy. I need to see him happy. He's been depressed ever since the wild card.
That I have been, but there has been a lot of news that has made me a little bit happier since that day. And today, seeing this on ESPN made it really good. And we're going to tune into this video, and we're going to let Jeff Passan do the talking about Justin Verlander. So here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Want the Verlander reunion. People want the Correa Hinch reunion.
I don't think that the Verlander Correa thing is all that real. Now, I may be getting lied to, but I think Verlander probably ends up in a larger market with a team that is potentially near and dear to your heart.
Really?
Correa, I don't know at this point. There was a lot of consternation, let's say, in Yankee Twitter land when I suggested that the Correa Yankees fit probably isn't great. Verlander, on the other hand, is a power pitcher.
Yeah,
he's a guy who has premium stuff. The scouts who saw him at his showcase walked away saying, "Yeah, the shit's still there." That's the guy you can slot in at the top of your rotation and feel a lot more comfortable, I think, than you did with Corey Kluber there at the beginning of last year. Verlander and Syndergaard, I mean, those are names that are going to go this week.
People want them.
Chris, what do you think about that? Justin Verlander, obviously a big name this offseason. He's coming off of Tommy John. He's 39, but, obviously the video shows that he was still pumping it down the middle.
Yeah.
Would you be fine if the Yankees went after him and gave him a deal this week?
Absolutely, especially because he's getting later in his career, and we're not going to probably offer him as much money than, let's say, he would be if he was a little bit younger and not coming off of Tommy John surgery. But still, like him with his Verlander is on the Astros, right? Before I sound fucking stupid.
Yes.
Yes.
He's a
So
free
him
agent,
with his
so he
former
was
teammate-
on the Astros.
With his former teammate Correa. I mean, here we go. Like we're getting a package deal.
I wasn't too crazy about the Verlander idea at first, knowing that he was coming off of Tommy John and knowing that he was on the older side.
But like you said, he's throwing gas.
I'm getting to that. Before that trial happened, I was very skeptical about the whole thing, and I was like, I don't know. Once that trial happened, and we heard all the things, and the videos leaked out, then I said, yeah, I would take the chance on Justin Verlander. Mikey said it best last week, that you can give him a deal, 1 year, maybe a 2-year deal, and not have to throw so much money because you're in a larger market. You know that there's still a risk reward type of situation there. But like Passan said in the interview here, Verlander's still a power pitcher, and he still showed it in that tryout. So what's the difference of a tryout from live hitting when you know what that guy can do? He's thrown multiple no-hitters. He's won multiple Cy Young awards. But he only has the 2017 World Series ring to show for it.
And do we really even count that?
It's tough to debate that, I mean, a lot of people are going to say no like us, but then there still are going to be the people that say that he deserved it because it was a long time coming. And I think that, wherever he goes, it's going to be an addition to that team. But I would be really excited if it was the Yankees, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting that notification this week.
And that would be pretty fire.
I'm going to be anxious now.
You're just glued to your phone now.
Yeah, I'm going to be anxious all week. Luckily, I have my Apple Watch, so I don't need to be looking at my phone. I'll just be getting like the dings on there. And every time it dings, I'm going to be looking at like Verlander.
Yeah, weird flex, but all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. We saw that earlier. And, I've been talking to people at work about it that are Yankee fans, and just like other people in general that brought up the idea of, different pitchers coming in. The only thing I think is that if Verlander does come to the Yankees, I don't think that could be the only move that Brian Cashman makes to solidify the rotation. He still would have to go out there and get a number 2 behind Garrett Cole. I think Verlander would fill in
Robbie Ray
more as like a number 3 right now in this stage in his career. I would love Robbie Ray. I think he's going to cost a decent chunk of change that the Yankees might want to put elsewhere. And I think Toronto is going to fight very hard to keep him. And I think at the end of the day, he's still going to be there come 2022.
Yeah, but still, it'd be pretty cool if Robbie Ray came to the Yankees.
It'd be awesome. Because then, assuming the Yankees sign Verlander, and then if they sign Robbie Ray, you got the rotation looking like Cole at 1, Robbie Ray at 2, Verlander at 3, Sevy at 4 if he stays healthy. You got Jamo probably at 5. And, if you need a 6th man, you got Jordan Montgomery. And then everyone else that was in the rotation becomes expendable.
Yeah, that's actually not – that doesn't look too bad,
That's a solid rotation. I like that a lot. And I think Jordan Montgomery is a staple in the rotation, especially after what he proved this year. Obviously,
he can give up 12. That he could give up a lot of runs against Tampa Bay.
He had a hiccup in his last start, but he was probably one of the most consistent pitchers all year, and he just didn't get run support. He would have possibly been a top 5 Cy Young candidate if he actually had people score runs for him, because he was excellent all year. So big hats off to him. With that, going to move on from Verlander because obviously we want to talk about all the free agents. So I wrote down all free agents that are rumored to be interested by the Yankees. Some guys are on the trade market. Some guys are free agents. I just wrote down the names. We're going to go through and we're going to give our hot or not take on it. So basically, I'm gonna give a name, Chris. You're gonna go first. You're gonna say whether you think the Yankees pursue him or not. We're gonna start off with Anthony Rizzo.
Definitely gonna try. They're definitely gonna try, like for sure. Like I don't see why they wouldn't. Because let's just say they try to make a deal for Matt Olson, which is I think their number one priority. At least if I was Brian Cashman, if that falls through, maybe they'll give it to Rizzo. Maybe they'll do it the opposite way. But I would definitely say the Yankees will try to keep Rizzo just because of what he did this year. Because he was an impact on the roster, even though he really didn't do amazing. He was still an up. He's up there. So definitely one of, if not the best first baseman in the league, or as you would say it last podcast, best third baseman in the league. But yeah, no, definitely I would keep him. Who's next?
Well, I'm gonna go off Rizzo too, because we're gonna both give our takes. I'm gonna say hot for the benefit that he's eager to come back. The Yankees are obviously talking with him about a potential reunion. I think it's gonna take a little bit longer. I don't think we're gonna know who our first baseman is before the CBA expires. I would love to have Rizzo back, but it's just going to depend on the money. If we can get him on the lower half of like a $12 million a year, maybe over the course of like 3-4 years, I'm down. But it's looking more like he wants anywhere in between 15 to 20 million a year and a 4 to 5 year contract. If that's the case, I'd rather swing to Olsen, who I am
Definitely
very hot on,
money.
And he still has 2 years left before he hits free agency. He's still in his arbitration years. He's scheduled to make like $7.5 million in 2022. And if you're going to pay him 7.5 instead of paying Rizzo probably 15, that's a win right there. That's half.
That's half.
That's half of the money that you would pay. Last first baseman that I have on our list is Freddie Freeman. This one just came out today, and Brian Cashman spoke to his rep. So Cashman doing his thing, keeping all options available. But what is your take, hot or not?
No, definitely not. I'm just because the Braves fans have made it clear that they want Freeman still, and with the chants and the hashtags and all that. And I feel like the organization would feel like a complete villain if they just let him go, and the fans would be crazy. But I could see it happening, but it's just, I think no, it's not going to happen.
I can't.
I wouldn't be surprised.
This is a big not for me, and I saw it today, and I just I kept trying to picture Freddie Freeman in any other uniform other than a Braves, and I just couldn't see anything that looked right on him, and it just doesn't make sense. I mean, he really is one of your franchise cornerstones with Acuna and Albies there. Those guys are pretty much like untouchable, and I know Freddie declined his first offer from the Braves. I don't think Brave fans should have anything to worry about. I think they'll be completely fine, and they will find a way to get Freddie Freeman back, and he'll be there the rest of his career and retire Brave, and more than likely he'll have the numbers to be a Hall of Famer.
Most definitely.
Yeah. All right. Our favorite part, shortstops. This is like middle infield, kind of like I got a bunch of names on here. First one, obviously for you, we're gonna do Correa. We're gonna make this very quick.
Flaming. That's it. That's it.
I know. You love Correa. I'm gonna make it hot, obviously, because there are rumors buzzing. I think he would be a great fit in New York. I'm gonna tie this into the next guy, Seager. Obviously, I am flaming on Corey Seager. I would say.
Yeah, no, I would say hot.
I could literally take I could put a ring on my finger. I'll take a ring pop from Corey Seager to get him on the Yankees. I'll take whatever it is. But I need one of them on the Yankees. So I'm hot on both guys. I think they're both gonna be rumored for the next week and a half, 2 weeks that they're going to be on the Yankees. And I think one of them are going to be signed to the New York Yankees before December 1st.
Yeah.
They are going to make their biggest splash of the offseason before the CBA expires.
Yeah, I sure as shit hope so. But
They have to.
I definitely see it.
That's why a lot of teams are jumping now, and that's why the offseason is piping hot right now. We haven't seen it like this in a little while, but teams are eager to get this stuff done because it's almost imminent that there's going to be a shutdown.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was a team, I'd probably try to get my moves done.
Yep.
Way before. Yeah.
Yeah. The next guy I have on here is Marcus Semien.
Cold. Definitely cold. Like ice cold. The end.
Why?
Because we don't need him.
Yeah, no, I'm going not, because even though Semien had a career year with Toronto, and that team was stacked, they gave him a lot of opportunity to drive and runs, and his numbers were definitely up there. He's probably going to finish third in MVP voting. I just don't see him fitting in. Like, he can't fit in with the Yankees. He used to play shortstop for Oakland, then he switched to second when he went to Toronto. I wouldn't want him to have to make the transition back to shortstop again. But also, it's like Brian Cashman has already come out and said that it's really gonna be between Corey Seager, Carlos Correa, or maybe Trevor Story. I feel like if you don't get Correa or Seager, your best settle would be Story. But like you said in last week, how the Yankees have soured on Story, he might not be willing to come here unless he gets overpaid, because he wouldn't want to be, that sloppy second type of guy. So we're both not on that, and I'm completely fine with that. Chris Bryant is the next guy that I have on my list, and he's a very interesting guy to have on here. If you want to think for a minute, I can go first.
Go ahead.
I'm hot on this. I don't think it happens, but I think if the Yankees were to move on from Gleyber Torres in the trade for Matt Olson, or if they were to move on from Gio Urshela, if they were to make some type of big move that would impact the infield at other positions, I think you could potentially find a place for Chris Bryant at third, or if you trade Gallo, you could put him in the outfield. Like, he has a lot of versatility. And even if you don't go after Olson, if you get Rizzo back, the potential pairing of, getting Bryant and Rizzo back together, people like to call them Brizzo. That would be awesome. They were such a dynamic duo.
I was gonna say not, but I would see it's only happening if they re-sign Rizzo, and that's it. Like, that's really it. Like, just bring those two back together. That's the only way I can see it happening.
The likeliest places I see Chris Bryant going is the Mets or the Giants again, or the Dodgers. I feel like those are the top three people, or top three teams that I see going after him this offseason. And I think it would make a lot of sense for those guys to acquire him. It would be awesome to see him in Pinstripes. And I think the rumor might be hot for a little bit, especially with, the trade market and, the possibility of Gleyber Torres going in a trade somewhere, and Luke Voigt, and, maybe Urshela. So it can definitely be hot in multiple ways. But I just don't think it's certain or like highly likely to happen at this point.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's high on the list of priorities either.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But it would be cool. I just wanted to put it out there because, I thought it would be a cool thing to talk about. We haven't really talked about Chris Bryant at all on this podcast, and we're 6 episodes in now. But he's a cool name to look at, and it's going to be exciting to see where he ends up. Next guy is Chris Taylor from the Dodgers. He's another utility man, not as highly thought about as Chris Bryant is. But he's another guy.
I would just say not,
saying.
simply because it's probably just another rumor for the mill. Just
Right.
that's really all it seems like. I just
Right.
no.
I'm saying the same thing. I think he would be good, but I don't think would be able to start anywhere. I don't think he's
No.
better than anyone else that we have right now at a position, or that we would have in 2022. Obviously, he mainly would play second base. We have Glaber there. He could play third. Urshela's there. Shortstop, we're probably going to have Correa or Seager or someone there. He's probably not going to be better than one of them there. He can play center field, left field, but it's like you're not going to play more games than Gallo out there unless Gallo's hurt. And center field, it's like you could play there if, the Yankees want to go with a cheaper option. But it's like they're probably banking on Aaron Hicks to be healthy, and, you want to probably give Florio a shot. So I'm going to say no for Chris Taylor, only for the reason that I don't think there's any place for him.
No. Yeah, same thing.
I think he ends up back with the Dodgers. I think they need him. Like, I think he's so versatile to that team in so many ways that they need him. But I could also see like a team like Seattle, who has a lot of utility men going after him, or the Giants, any teams like that are out west that see him more often, they might be up for grabs and trying to take him away from the Dodgers. Next guy, Javier Baez. No. Just a simple no. It's not that I don't like the guy that much, but he's just not a good player. He's probably one of the game's most overrated players. Kind of like how we talked about last week with the strikeouts and the plate discipline. It's not very good. And even though we have Joey Gallo, who's the same way, Joey Gallo's much, much better, I would say, offensively as a whole, because his power numbers are better. He has enough discipline where he can work a lot of walks, and Baez can't do that. They're about equal, I would say, defensively. They do play different positions, so it's hard to judge them off of that.
You really can't compare them in that sense.
With the guys that Baez has to compete with in free agency at shortstop / second base, he's probably like the fifth best option out there. And I feel like the Mets are probably going to be a play for him, or maybe Oakland. They're probably going to pay him crazy money for the overrated player that he is, but at least it'll bring a name to those teams and, get people in the seats.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got anything?
Plus, we just don't need him. No, just don't need him. He's just not important.
Yep. Outfielders. I got a couple on here. Two of them are free agents. 3 of them are
we got 5
trade
more to
candidates. Starling Marte is the first one.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, he plays center field right now, and he has a lot of interest from a lot of different teams right now, including the Yankees, the Mets, the Phillies, the A's, the Marlins, the Astros, the Red Sox. He's got a lot of teams that really want his ability. He batted .310 this year. He stole 47 bases. He's going to be 33 years old, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to say not, only for the fact that he's on the older side. And I'm not going to say that he's overrated, but I don't think he's necessarily properly rated either.
Yeah.
What you're like, at the end of the day, you know what you're going to get out of him. You're going to get a consistent leadoff hitter that's going to put the ball in play, get on base, steal bases, all that. But center field is one of the more important positions in baseball. And I never really saw Starling Marte as a guy who is a leader in the clubhouse. And either way, it's like, obviously we know the Yankees are presumably going to get Aaron Judge extended, and that's going to be his clubhouse for the foreseeable future. But you do need a center fielder who's going to have a say in that clubhouse, and I just don't think that Starling Marte is that guy. He's on the older side. He's looking for a lot of money, and I just don't think that's something that the Yankees should really dish out there like that.
I wouldn't.
When there's other guys that are younger out there that we can trade for, expend the prospects, or because we already have Aaron Hicks locked down for another 5 years, try to see if he can go out there opening day and compete.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, we really don't need like an all-star caliber center fielder. Like,
I mean, I would love that. I definitely want an all-star,
but we wouldn't. We don't really need it. Like, if we wanted to get one, we'd have to probably give up a lot more than what we should give up at this current moment. Like, it's just.
Hey, I'm all for the prospect trades.
I'm just gonna say not. Just
that's why. That's why this next guy that I'm in, I am hands down all for it, because I was looking at something today, and it was a mock trade that the Pittsburgh Pirates had, and it was it was absolutely phenomenal, because your favorite Yankee Gary Sanchez was going back to Pittsburgh.
Oh, thank God.
So Brian Reynolds, I'm all hands in on. I think he would be great.
Yeah,
I know it's going to cost
a lot last week.
I know it's going to cost a lot, but and I have this guy at catcher too, but and so we'll bring him into this too, Jacob Stallings. Defensive catcher first, offense comes after. He's one of the best defensive catchers in the game this year. I think he actually won the Gold Glove behind the plate for the National League. Like, that's really how good he was. But it was a package for those two, and it was Gary Sanchez going back, Devi Garcia, Luis Medina, and somebody else who I can't remember who. But I don't know if that would necessarily be enough. But I think with the way that trades have gone in Pittsburgh the last couple of years and how they haven't gone in their favor, I feel like they would take something like that and give Gary Sanchez a shot, and give Devi a shot in the majors and Medina a shot in the majors, because the Pirates know that they're very far away from competing, that they might as well just keep expending those guys that have been around, are star players who they know that they're not going to be able to keep around, because they did it with Cole, they did it with McCutchen, they did it with Marte. They did it with Tyon to the Yankees. They did it with Glasnow and Meadows and Shane Baz. So it's like, they're doing things where they know that they can't keep these guys around. So Brian Reynolds is really the next superstar on the table from that team. The Yankees
and the Pirates
the Yankees
are, like you said, are known for making very terrible trades.
Yes. And the Yankees are more in need of a catcher than they are a center fielder. But why not knock out two birds with one stone? You can get an all-star center fielder who's only 26, who has 4 years left of control, and you get the top defensive catcher in baseball probably right now. I'd say probably behind JT Realmuto. Realmuto just had like a
Sorry. You're fine.
Realmuto had like a down year, I would say. But besides that, I think Reynolds I'm all in for. Jacob Stallings obviously would be like the cherry on top, like the icing on the cake. But I love both of those guys. I think they would be awesome as Yankees. That would get me super pumped for 2022 if they made a trade like that. I would like that trade more than the Matt Olson trade. I have to agree with you. That's how excited I am if the Yankees were to get Brian Reynolds.
I really do have to agree with you on that.
So the next guy's also a trade candidate. The next two guys are, so I'm going to name both of them because they're both very high on the rumor mill. But I don't think either of them are, not that they're not good enough, but I don't think that they're healthy enough or consistent enough to be someone that the Yankees would give up enough production in the minors for. And those are Ketel Marte and Byron Buxton. Both had very high averages. They both play a solid center field. Buxton better than Marte, but both have been riddled by injuries the past couple of years. Buxton hasn't played more than 87 games since 2017. And I think that's just something that the Yankees would have to consider and be like, okay, like he has the same exact problem as Aaron Hicks. So that's an automatic no right there. And you just got to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Ketel Marte is different. He provides the top of the lineup bat, kind of like Brian Reynolds. But then again, Reynolds has stayed healthy. Reynolds proved to be one of the best players from his rookie class. If Pete Alonso didn't hit the 52 or 53 home runs in that year, Reynolds probably would have won Rookie of the Year. But Marte, again, with the injuries, and, I just don't think he's going to fit in with that group as well.
No.
And I don't know where you put him in at the lineup because, personally, for me, I still want to keep DJ at the top of the lineup. And I don't feel like Marte's a guy that you would want to just throw in at like the 7, 8, or 9 spot either.
No.
Whereas Brian Reynolds
sounds weird.
Brian Reynolds is the type of guy that I would tell LeMahieu, hey, move down a couple spots. You'll be all right. We'll get you a chance to drive in more runs. But Brian Reynolds is going to be our guy to start the game off, work the count, get on base, all that kind of stuff.
Definitely. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yep. I like it a lot.
Damn,
I like Brian
that.
Reynolds. And the last guy is Nick Castellanos from the Reds. I'll let you go ahead first on that one.
Well, judging by how well he's done on my show franchise team, I would say absolutely not. Get him the fuck away. No.
Damn.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick, but you're.
I think the rumor mill is hot. I think there's a lot of teams that are in on this guy. I mean, he batted .309 this year. His OPS was like a 980.
Yeah, he's good, but I don't.
He had a career year in Cincy, and that's mainly the reason why he opted out of his contract to become a free agent, because he knows that he's gonna fucking get paid. He is going to get absolutely loaded this year, and he's 29 years old.
And I feel like the Yankees don't really need to spend that much money.
Right,
because
exactly.
we're already going after big names.
The only reason why I would say not for the Yankees is because he's a corner outfielder, which they obviously don't need because they got Stanton if they need to. They got Gallo, they got Judge, they still have Clint Frazier on paper and Duhar, even though he's not actually an outfielder. Castellanos would really bring a lot of energy to the team. You would just have to get him for an absolute steal to convince me that I would want him on the Yankees, because he's not a need, and obviously he's not going to play center field. No. So he's kind of a misfit there. I know the Mets are in on him. There were a couple teams. The Reds are still obviously in on him, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to, rework a new contract with him. But I'm just going to say not, for the case of being that I know he's going to get probably $200 million somewhere, and
easy.
That's the money that's going towards the shortstop. So
yeah, so we don't need to worry about that. That's our shortstop money. Yes. That's all we need right now.
All right. Yes. Now on to the pitchers. Verlander, we're not going to talk about because we talked about that earlier because of the video. So we're going to dive to the next guy, Robbie Ray. Hot or not, Chris?
Definitely hot.
And
because I want Robbie Ray. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Robbie Ray is definitely a hot commodity on the free agent market.
How could we go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's probably going to win the Cy Young over Cole. He's got to be the clear-cut runner-up or, front runner for that award. I think Cole, just because it's a September, is, going to finish second. But as long as Robbie Ray wins that award, it's going to definitely make it a more competitive market for him, and then his value is going to go even higher than it is now. And with that, it's going to make it harder for Toronto to keep him, because Toronto has Vladdy and they want to keep Simeon and they have Bo and they have all these guys that they want to be able to keep around and dish out money to in the next couple of years. Robbie Ray's a guy where you're going to have to consider like, hey,
can we afford him?
Right. Can you afford him? Can you keep him as your ace, or do you have to do what you did last year when you found him and try to find another guy like him for a cheap price and try to do another project where you get a guy that just turns out to be an absolute stud? For me, I think it's hot. I think the Yankees should go all in on him. I think he would be a great number 2 behind Cole. And with the Verlander stuff that we talked about, I don't think Verlander can be a number 2 anymore, at least in a large market like New York. So I think Robbie Ray would be a perfect fit. And then you got Cole, Ray, Verlander. You get into a playoff series that's best of 7, and you throw your 4 best pitchers out there, and you hear those 4 pitchers are Cole, Robbie Ray, Justin Verlander, and Luis Severino. That's going to scare a lot of damn teams.
Yeah.
And I like that. Every time I say it to myself, I'm like, yeah. That's the evil empire that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees used to be the team that they didn't care how much money they spent, and they would get the best player at each position. They need to get back to that ASAP. And with the way that Brian Cashman talked about spending money like he did in 2009, I'm thinking that this is the time where he's like, all right, it's my last year potentially as a GM. And if I don't make this team winners, I'm gone. So he's going to spend every last dime. And, he's going to take, the company swiper, company card, whatever he needs. And he's going to just go swipe, 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 swipe.
So I would do.
And he is going to buy everything that he possibly can. And he's going to try to bring whoever he can to New York.
I'm praying.
Yep, me too.
Praying.
Carlos Rodon is the next one. You hot on that?
I literally know nothing about this guy, so I can't even give an opinion.
Damn, that's kind of upsetting because he kind of broke out this year.
I know nothing about him.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm hot on him too, in case Robbie Ray is to fall through. Another left-hander. He had a really good year. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't. I don't think he finished as a Cy Young finalist, which was kind of surprised. Yeah, he didn't, because his teammate Lance Lynn got the other nod. Rodon threw a no-hitter this year, but he definitely had one of the best years of his career. I think he's going to get a decent chunk of change. I don't think he's going to get nearly what Robbie Ray is going to get, but I think he could be another guy where if he doesn't get like a big contract now, he could get a deal like Robbie Ray did, like a 1-year $18 million or a 2-year $40 million contract somewhere, where he can, keep doing what he's doing and try to be the best pitcher, and then go back out onto the market again when there's less quality names out there, where he can be that top person available.
Yeah. That's cool though. I didn't know he had a no hitter at all. That's cool.
Yeah, he did.
But then again, there were so many this year
against the Indians. I believe it was against the Cleveland Indians. He was
the Guardians.
The Guardians. Yeah, but he was 1 out away from a perfect game, and I believe it was a drop third strike and the runner reached first base. And that was absolutely brutal. Like, people were just like, no way. And then he wound up getting the next guy out, so he still threw the no-hitter. And it was a solid performance. It was really good. But to move on, Tanaka's the next guy that I have on this list here.
Does he even really count, though?
He does. He does, because he's in the rumor mill. He's been rumored that the Yankees want him.
Well, I thought you were talking about he was a free agent. I was like, what does that even count? But yeah, no, definitely in the rumor mill. If he actually is in conversations, I would say hot. Definitely. Fuck yeah. We've talked about this before. We really don't need to elaborate on it again. Just, he would be a good fit. You bring the energy back, hopefully. And Tanaka.
Yeah.
Hot.
I'm on the fence about this one because they haven't said anything in the past week or two about him being reached out to if he's declining his option or not. Like I said in the episode that we really dove deep into Tanaka, I was more kind of like, if the CBA expires and they don't have a deal, he's going to go back to Japan so that he has a guaranteed contract there. But I think if the Yankees were to talk to him and try to say like, hey, like we would like you back, if the Yankees fall through and they don't get Robbie Ray and if they don't get Carlos Rodon, I think they can rely on Tanaka enough where if you go into a rotation with, Cole, Tanaka, a Verlander, even without a Verlander, you got Cole, Tanaka, and Sevilla. I still think that's good. But I don't think that Tanaka would still be enough. So he's kind of in the same boat as
you're kind of right.
Yeah, he's in the same boat of like a Verlander and a Kershaw. Whereas if you get one of those guys, that's not going to change your entire team around. You have to go out and get someone else. Now, if the Tigers were to do this now, they got Eduardo Rodriguez this morning. Now, if they were to go get a guy like Verlander, Tanaka, or Kershaw, not saying that Tanaka would go to Detroit because there's no way. He's already expressed interest in just going back to the Yankees. But if you were to get one of those guys in Detroit, then you could talk about Detroit potentially competing for a wild card spot or potentially even an AL Central crown because they've got the pieces. They had a decent team. After June 1st, they had like the second best record in baseball the rest of the year, and they really flipped the switch. So I wouldn't be surprised if teams like the Tigers and the Yankees go out and, get their big guy of like, hey, like this is who we want to, be a quality starter and be our 1-2 punch, but also get one of these guys like a Verlander, Kershaw, Tanaka type of pitcher. Not saying it has to be one of those three names, but it can be. And that would definitely be a beneficial factor to those teams to make a push for October next year.
Definitely.
And since I said his name now, we're going to go into it with Clayton Kershaw. Hot or not?
Mm-hmm. We don't really need Kershaw. Isn't he getting up there in age too?
He's 34. So he's in like he's in the middle of the road. I'm against it. There's not a lot of reasons why I don't like the idea. It's just I don't think he's gonna fit.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I would say no, but I really don't have like really a solid.
I just feel like there's going. I feel like he's one of those guys where he's been good for so long, and you know what you're going to get out of him. That a lower tier team with a smaller market is going to overpay for him like crazy, and he is going to take that deal just for the sake of having the money. He already got his ring.
I would if I was Kershaw.
He already got his ring. He's won a Cy Young. He's thrown a no-hitter in LA. He's done everything he's needed to do to get into the Hall of Fame. Now it's just, what's next? Like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to end up? I could see him still staying with the Dodgers, but I feel like more of like a rebuilding team or like a team that had really lax starting pitching is going to take him. Maybe like the Texas Rangers or the LA Angels. Maybe even the Detroit Tigers. They could snag a guy like Kershaw to try to just, build up that rotation and, get a proven starter that has been an ace and, try to help maybe your younger guys learn under your wing. And, with the fact that the Rangers have that kid Jack Leiter coming out of Vanderbilt at the number 2 pick overall, I think Kershaw would be a great tool for that kid. And, he could learn a lot from Kershaw, and that would make him a true ace someday.
Yeah, that would be optimal, as if some team with a younger pitcher who needs a veteran type role model, essentially, to come by. Yep. Yeah, that would be freaking awesome. I would love to see some kid grow up to be an ace. So I think that's not going to happen on the Yankees.
Yeah. Corey Kluber. is the next guy I have on this list. People on audio can't see that.
Yeah, I know, but no, granted, if he could stay healthy, he would probably be a little bit higher in contention. But because of granted, he threw a no-hitter, but still, like, it's really not a really good enough reason to keep him on the team, especially because he only had a 1-year deal. He played, he had a no-hitter, but like, what else has been like extremely like notable throughout the season though?
Right. I mean, he didn't pitch like half the season, so he pitched opening day up to like the middle of May, and then he didn't come back again till like September. So he missed almost half the year still. They haven't said a lot about him, but I wanted to put him on this list because he obviously was a part of the team, and you never know if they might have to bring him back, just in case other things don't work out. I'm gonna say no though, just for the fact that he couldn't stay healthy. We took a chance on him. It was a small contract. It was a risk reward. We got the no-hitter out of him, which was great. But overall, in the end, we wanted him to have a healthy season and help us compete in October. And we unfortunately weren't able to see that. So I'm gonna say no. I don't think Kluber's gonna come back. I think he can go to another team, but I wouldn't be surprised if this injury is worse than we think it is with his shoulder and he just decides to retire and call it quits.
Yeah.
Yep. I got 2 more starters, and then that'll be it. And we'll go into our last segment about Brett Gardner. Kevin Gausman, the Giants starter, who miraculously turned it around this year. Wasn't great in Baltimore. Went to Atlanta, was absolutely horrendous. Came to San Francisco and lit it up. I mean, he was probably one of the most dominant pitchers, and he's not even going to win the Cy Young because of Max Scherzer. But he was a good pitcher all year for that Giants team, and a big part of the reason why they had 107 wins and the reason why they won the NL West.
So what's your verdict?
I'm hot for the need that the Yankees need a number 2 guy. I just don't think he's gonna sign in a big market.
No,
I think
I was gonna say the same thing.
He performs better in a smaller market.
I was gonna say, just because, let's just say the Yankees do end up going to get somebody like Robbie Ray. That's fine. Like, granted, we really don't even terribly need a pitcher that's like on the caliber that let's just say we could get do.
Yes, we do. Don't lie to yourself.
Not at number 2.
Yes, we do.
We need some. Then again, we would have to overpay. We would have to overpay.
I don't care because Brian Cashman said he's spending money this year, so fuck it. Like, give Robbie Ray a $200 million contract if that's what it takes.
I mean, shit. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
If that's what it's gonna take to get a guy behind Garrett Cole, so if Garrett Cole doesn't get fatigued again and then have to throw in a wild card game and shit the bed again, then go get yourself the starters that you need to be able to do that.
Most likely, because Robbie Ray, I think he's going to win the Cy Young this year. So
he's going to get paid.
Exactly. If we're going to overpay for a guy, I'd rather have a guy with hardware.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't think Gausman's going to get overpaid. I think he's going to get properly paid. I think he's going to get 80 to 100 million, maybe like a 4 or 5 year deal, and he's going to be comfortable with that. I don't think he's going to leave the Giants. I really think he's going to stay there. I think they need him to stay there if they want to even try to contend. But with Buster Posey leaving for retirement, I think the Giants might wind up taking a step back in 2022, and we won't see them in the playoffs just because that's a big piece to lose. I mean, that's he wasn't the captain, but he was the captain. Like, that's your veteran presence. That's your leader. That's your clubhouse guy. And, for him to just come out of the blue and say, hey, I'm retiring, like I'm stepping away from the game so suddenly, that's a tough loss. And now you got to try to scramble and see, like, okay, like, how are we going to fill his void? Like, who is going to be the next guy to step up? And that might be where you need to be like, okay, we need to bring Chris Bryant back or Kevin Gosman back or both of them and be like, hey, listen, like, Posey's gone. We need you guys to take that next step and, be the leaders of this team. And that's what we're going to pay you to do. They're not going to pay them just to go out there and play, but to be the voice of that team.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yep.
Good point.
And then
you got a good point.
the last guy on our list, Marcus Stroman, New York Met. Hot or not, Chris?
I want to say no because there's only one Stroman that's in New York, and he's in the stadium. He's in the bleachers. So that we can't have that.
I like that one. That's a good one. Yeah. For all of you that
there's
don't
only
know,
room for one of us.
For all of you that don't know, Chris's last name is Stroman. So that's
Ooh, now my name is out there. Yay.
Yeah. So that was a funny joke, Chris. That was good. I'm gonna go on the opposite side of you. I think that's another hot take because he pitched extremely well for the Mets. Like, I think he was very underlooked, and he was really good over there. And I wouldn't be surprised if our new third base coach, Luis Rojas, was to have a say in saying, hey, like, Marcus Stroman's out there, and, he was my pitcher in 2021, and he did really well. You guys should go try to snag him, maybe at like a discount or something. I think he'd
take it.
I think he might. I think him and Judge have a good relationship. I think he likes being in New York.
Oh, if they make a glove company.
I think if the Mets give him a similar offer that the Yankees do, he'll stay with the Mets. But if the Mets decide to move on and go somewhere else and, don't go back to Stroman, I could definitely see it happening.
But let's just say he does, I'll totally buy his jersey, so I don't have to get a custom jersey.
Right, but I mean, his name's not going to be on the back, so
I can always get one with his name on the back.
That's true. You can. Too bad his name doesn't have the H in it, though.
Who cares?
It's close enough, right?
It's close enough. Sounds the same.
Yeah, it sounds the same, so we're good. But yeah, I'm hot on Marcus Stroman. I'm not like super hot. I'd obviously rather guys like Robbie Ray and Verlander or, bringing Tanaka back. But Stroman's a good pitcher, and, he definitely brings the fire.
Thank you. That's a
good funny.
For me.
You're funny. He's a good pitcher. He brings great energy. Gets very fired up when he's doing good. And, he's a guy that likes to see other players succeed. So it's like, he's one of those Bauer type figures where if someone hits a home run off of him and they're celebrating, he's going to go out there post game and be like, hey, like, that was cool. Like, that guy celebrated his home run, and, he deserves to do that on the big stage. So I like Stroman's attitude. I think it's perfect for New York. And yeah, so I would take him, but only if those guys were to fall through to other teams, and if Tanaka decided to stay in Japan.
Well, that's really how I feel about every other pitcher on this list, other than Robbie Ray and Verlander.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking Kluber back. Kershaw, I just don't think he's going to come to New York. I don't think he needs to go back to a big market ever again. I think he could just finish up his career somewhere nice and calm, and just kind of like ride off into the sunset. Pitch a year or two, or however long he wants to. Just throw innings, eat up innings for a team. Be that type of guy that could be the presence for younger pitchers, and then that's it. He'll be done. I got one more guy on here. Sorry. Another catcher.
Oh my God. Can I even just already say that, like, no, I'm not taking him because I want to move on?
Well, you don't like Gary Sanchez, so you're gonna like this better.
Well, actually, yeah, go ahead. Lay it on me.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, you might want to hear this one. It's not Martin Maldonado, though. I don't think that he leaves the Astros. Carson Kelly from the Arizona Diamondbacks is another guy. More of a defensive catcher first, but he can hold his own with the bat. And I'm all for a better defensive catcher. Like, if we have guys 1-6, 1-7 that can hit the ball and get on base, I'm fine with a hitter that can bat 230 as a catcher and just be amazing behind the plate. So Carson Kelly is one of those guys. The Yankees have, made a couple trades with the Diamondbacks in the past. The most recent with the Tim LeCastro deal. I could definitely see them making a move like this. It wouldn't necessarily.
I just don't see it happening.
It wouldn't take Gary Sanchez back to Arizona to get him. It would probably just take a couple simple prospects. But I like the Jacob Stallings move better because if you do that, you're more than likely going to get Brian Reynolds. Then you could ship Gary Sanchez the fuck out of New York, send his ass to Pittsburgh, and give the Pirates whoever you want prospect wise, unless it's Anthony Volpe or Jason Dominguez.
That's, I think, the smartest move, though, definitely, because you're getting a few players that you would need out of just a catcher and some prospects.
And you're getting multiple years of control out of both of them. You're getting 4 years out of Brian Reynolds, which means you can make Aaron Hicks expendable. And you're getting, I think, like 2 years out of Jacob Stallings at the least, which is fine by me. Because he'll probably be a guy that you can re-sign, or you could bridge the gap between him and a guy like Austin Wells, or him and a guy, like Anthony Gomez, that's also down in the minors. But that's it. Those are, the hot or not takes, just little things, about the rumor mill that's been going on every day. And, kind of what Brian Cashman is going into right now. It's like he's looking at all those names and he needs to be basically on the clock 24/7 saying like, all right, like
Brian,
who is going to be that guy?
If you're watching this video, please take our advice to heart because we're smarter than you. So just please take it.
Wow. Yeah.
So please.
Yeah. No, he already came out and he spoke about the Correa thing and said that if Correa is the best fit in New York, he doesn't care what fans think, that Correa is going to be a Yankee. So, if we find out that Cashman says something good about Correa, then you'll know Correa is going to be in New York. So we just got to wait and hear that from him, and then we'll know.
All right, moving on.
All right, moving on. This is always my favorite. Oh, wow. Real quick, sorry, because I just looked at this. Jonathan India won National League Rookie of the Year, and if you guys watched our first podcast episode, I predicted him to win the Rookie of the Year. So it's a great win for me.
We're smarter than Brian Cashman.
Chris, who did you predict at AL Rookie of the Year?
Oh, God.
Because Arozarena won. And I'm not sure if it was him or
I think I had a Arozarena. It might have been Franco, but
I'm not sure. You picked someone from Tampa. I'm just not sure who it was. But
what episode was it though?
It was. I think it was one. I think one was it was one or two. But yeah, I can't believe they actually like Arozarena deserved it because it was a full season. But he technically was a rookie last year.
I had two. I put Franco and Arozarena. Just like
you couldn't decide, so yeah, we'll give that to you. So that's cool. So we both predicted the Rookie of the Year winners. I mean, Jonathan India was like him and Arozarena were both kind of like landslides for the awards. Like they were just so good that was like no one else could really top it. Like I know you had Trevor Rogers for the National League Rookie of the Year. He finished second, so still a good year. I don't even remember who I picked for AL Rookie of the Year, but it definitely wasn't one of the three finalists. So, whatever, that's fine.
It also definitely wasn't Brett Gardner.
No,
who we're talking
about
not. Now.
Yes, we're gonna move into our favorite scene. The courtroom scene, guilty as charged. And Brett Gardner is on the stand today. Basically, what we're going to do is talk about what keeps Gardner around on the Yankees. Is he a waste of a roster spot? And if you bring him back, what is his role? Chris, you're obviously defending him. So we're going to let you be able to go first, and I'm going to interrogate for all of you that listen, if you guys want to comment below after you watch the video or listen to the podcast, let us know. We're going to tally up the votes on whether you guys think that Chris won the argument or I won the argument. We'll also post it on our IG and Twitter and get the votes out that way too. So, Chris, if you want to start off, go for it.
All right, so hear me out.
Brett Gardner. No.
Anyway, as I was going to say, Gardner is probably my second favorite Yankee right now. He's granted, I think it's time for him to go, but not because of his play. I just think he's getting old. He's the longest tenured Yankee. He's been on the same team as Jeter. That's how long he's been a Yankee.
Are you defending him? Because it sounds like you don't want him on the team.
Hear me out. I would be down to sign him again. Definitely down. But as I'm looking into it more, I don't know how much I'm willing to spend on him. As you asked before, I don't think he's a waste of a roster spot.
If you bring him back, you sign him for like $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're wasting money.
It's still not a bad deal, but I just don't know if he's going to take it. If I was Gardner, I just would to see if I can close out see, especially if they make really good moves this year. I would stay just because I have a possibility of closing out my career with the World Series. Win or lose, I would still rather close my career out on a World Series than on getting my ass kicked by our rival in a wild card game. But no, I really want him on the team still, just because he brings a veteran leadership. Him and Judge, I think those two in the clubhouse can, even because Judge has the younger perspective and Gardner has the older veteran perspective, that combo can probably work wonders if you put it in the right way. So that's why I'm defending him, just because I want to see him try one more time. Just go try and get that World Series crown. Just go get it. Just try one more time. Don't give up.
So I can agree with you. That's what kept him around on the Yankees. He wanted to get that last ring. He wanted to, not just for himself, but for the younger guys. He wanted to be there to be able to celebrate with them and be a part of it. But I think he's a huge waste of a roster spot now. He's so unreliable and he's such a liability in the outfield. It's we signed him on at a $2 million deal for this season as a bench player. Aaron Hicks got hurt. Clint Frazier got hurt. Brett Gardner wants to play in 140 plus games. That's 211. Had one of the worst slash lines of his career. Couldn't hold his own defensively. And it just looked like a shit show every day when he was playing. He wasn't working the counts like he used to. He was swinging at pitches all over the place. He wasn't making barely any contact. He was going 0 for 4 almost every day. And he didn't have any pop in that bat at all. I think he might have had 10 homers this year, which, Gardner was never a power guy, but, since 2017, his power numbers were definitely higher. And, the last 2 years, I'd say 2020, 2021, it's been really disappointing to even watch him, at all on the field, because it just hasn't been the same. I don't think the Yankees bring him back. I think they finally move on. And, I think if he still really wants to play, he'll find a team that will give him a small contract to play. But it's going to be very hard because of the season that he had. He underperformed. He got a chance to play every day, even though he didn't think he was going to play every day in the beginning of the season. It's when you get that opportunity, you got to make the most of it. And he just did not step up to the plate in the right way. Obviously I love Gardy. I've always been a fan of his ever since he came up. But all good things have to come to an end, and this is Gardner's time, and I definitely want to thank him for the time that he had in Pinstripes. He was great. He was the last of Jeter's teammate. The last player to be on that field from the 2009 team. And he tried to help that team, get to the top again. And it's just tough because he was the veteran leader in that clubhouse, and 2019 we made it to the ALCS against the Astros and we lost. And then 2020 we made it to the ALDS and we lost against Tampa. And then 2021 we made it to the wild card game and lost against Boston. For him to be a leader of that clubhouse and for us to keep taking steps backwards, that goes a long way in deciding if you're going to keep a veteran like that. And taking those steps back the last 3 seasons is a big reason why I think the Yankees are going to move on from him, because the presence wasn't there. The leadership of the veterans wasn't dignified enough and wasn't strong enough to get that team over the hump. So I think he might be gone. They might bring in another veteran on a smaller contract, or they might bring Rizzo back, who has that championship experience. But I think Gardner's gone for good.
Yeah,
I hate to say it because it definitely breaks my heart, but people come and go, and Gardner had a great career with the Yankees, and I hope he could just ride off into the sunset and retire, because I couldn't picture him wearing another jersey. But if it comes down to that and he's wearing another jersey in 2022, I'll get over it.
Yeah.
I'll be sad at first. I'll be sad at first, but I'll get over it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So if you guys can, like we said before we started our arguments, or our claims, whatever you want to call it, if you guys can vote, let us know. We're going to post a story on our IG about it so that you guys can vote in after you listen. And yeah, Chris, if you got any final statement before we close it out.
No, I got nothing.
Okay, word. So guys, yeah, with that, we're going to take a little break. We're going to be back December 2nd, more than likely. That time frame, like that week, we'll be back after the CBA expires, unless something absolutely huge happens before then.
I would say Thanksgiving Day, Correa gets signed.
We'll be on.
Yeah.
And Black Friday, I work in retail, so I'm gonna be working all weekend. But you best believe if something happens,
you're calling out. I got the
no, that's not gonna happen. But we'll come on and we'll talk about it. As soon as I get out, whatever I have to do. If I have to, sit in my car and use my phone to get on, we'll do that, just so that we can bring you guys some content. But if you guys can, leave us a rate, leave us a review on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you guys can. If you guys can tune into the Sports Wave on YouTube, our videos are going to be posted up there from now on. Definitely want to shout out those guys. They've been awesome. Nothing but love and support to us, every week that we film another episode. I can't wait to get some of these guys on there. I've started talking to them to try to get them on, so they definitely are eager to come on and listen. It just hasn't happened yet, but we're gonna make sure that happens sooner rather than later. And yeah, we're excited, obviously for what's to happen. Obviously big things are coming. A lot of reporters are saying a lot of things about the Yankees and about spending money and about just baseball in general, and that people want to sign before December 1st because they don't know how long work is going to stop for and everything. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. We're going to keep you guys updated no matter what. Instagram posts, Twitter posts, IG stories are all going to be out there for you guys. We just won't be on a podcast episode until December, unless a Correa Seager type of transaction goes down. If we sign one of the marquee shortstops, we will definitely pop on. But until then, just share this with your friends, your family, anyone that that loves the Yankees, loves baseball, If they ever want to
Even
come
just your
on and
friends,
talk with
you can
us,
share it to your roommate, to your cat, to your dog, to your neighbor, to God. Send it to everybody.
share. And, we're excited. We're still trying to gain traction with followers and stuff. So, the more you guys can help us out, that'd be great. We are looking to, get some product in, some memorabilia, some tickets, later on in the off season that we can hopefully raffle off to you guys, our fans and our supporters. And once we're able to get word on what that stuff is going to be, we're going to let you guys know. And, we're just going to help you guys to, show our stuff. And that's it. We're here to say we love doing this. We love the New York Yankees and we love talking baseball. So we're here to stay. But for right now, we got nothing else. This was a fun episode. It was quick, but definitely some good stuff that we were able to talk about and we wanted to get on because we're not going to see you guys for a couple weeks.
Big cry. I cry.
But yeah, thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts for all the love and support. And we will see you guys next week.
All right. In the name of Judge Stanton and Carlos Correa, we're out of here.
Out of here. See you guys soon. Love you guys.